Hi, friends. Chloë here, your podcast co-host and director of the La Chiara Method. Do you ever wonder to yourself, what the heck is wrong with me? I feel so overwhelmed, like I'm spinning my wheels, but I'm afraid if I stop for even a second, everything will just fall apart. Or I know I'm capable of so much more, but I'm stuck in fear and second-guessing myself all the time. Well, let me tell you, you're not alone. But the good news is it doesn't have to feel this way. Our From Surviving to Thriving Level 1 training is here to help you step out of survival mode and into a life where you feel more grounded, connected, and capable of thriving. And right now, we're offering an early bird special until December 31st. Just use the code EARLY20 for 20% off Level 1. Plus, if you're ready to dive deeper and bundle Level 1 and 2 to become a full certified radical life coach, you'll get an additional 10% off, which is 30% off. Pretty great, right? Imagine waking up each day feeling more clear, more confident, and finally able to trust yourself. It's time to show up as the version of you that you've always known was possible. Visit lachiaramethod.com/level-1 to sign up today. Don't wait. This offer ends December 31st. It really is your time to thrive. Let's do this together. Welcome to the Activate Change podcast, where transformation is just a conversation away. Some episodes of this podcast offer an intimate front row seat to an authentic and unscripted personal healing session with renowned healer and creator of the La Chiara Method, Gabrielli La Chiara. Our incredibly generous and courageous guests explore their genuine struggles, longings, and deepest desires in these sessions. And we, as listeners, have the honor and privilege to witness their sacred and profound healing journeys. As you listen, we invite you to receive as well, feeling into where the healing and insights that transpire might spark transformation in your own life. And stay tuned until the end because I, Chloë Faith Urban, will discuss the session and share a skill or framework that Gabrielli used, which you can apply to your own personal healing. And because of the La Chiara Method's deep commitment to collaboration and perpetual learning, some episodes will highlight conversations with other thought leaders, healers, and activists on the path to bring healing, liberation, and true equality to the world. This podcast does contain adult language and content, so if you have little ones around you, you may want to use headphones. In this episode, Gabrielli has a session with Phyllis, who's seeking greater connection, abundance, and freedom. Together, they dive into the layers of her personal trauma and her relationship with money, uncovering how family dynamics and past experiences have influenced her self-worth and ability to thrive. They clear the energies, judgments, and opinions she's absorbed from her family over the years, creating space for her to truly claim her autonomy, personal space, and divine connection. Phyllis has had many sessions with Gabrielli over the years. At the end of the episode, I speak about being an empath or highly sensitive and share a mini guided experience and 2 simple strategies to help you work with and clear out energies that don't belong to you. Let's dive in. Hello, Phyllis. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
It's nice to have you here. I appreciate your energy and time and commitment to doing this. Let's take a second and land, and then I'd love to hear your intentions for our time together, and we will see where we go today.
Okay.
I'm going to land just by tuning in to myself. You can do whatever feels helpful to you. And I'm just going to sweep clear the space for any energies, any distractors, any bits of any life that's trailing in with either of us as we enter this call so that we can close that up and clear that out. Our present focus to be here to serve your body, being, soul, spirit and the you on this earth that you be. And let's just close up anything not required and activate change and generate healing immediately. Yeah, and I'm just curious about how I can be helpful. Where you'd like some attention today?
Well, I think I'm continuing on this long journey that I've been with you a lot in the middle and the beginning. And it changes and moves forward, and
right.
And I think with family trauma and also just the living facts that I'm dealing with at a harder time, and that's just the scenario. That's just my current situation.
Yeah. If we were to be successful in our time together, like what would you hope to come away with?
Keep getting more at my own vital energy that I think gets shrouded by things and people around. Right.
Good. Okay. So let's start there. Let's really feel into what you might need in order to de-stress other people's energy, life's energy, named the traumas, so that you can keep refining and returning to being you in your essence. Yeah, I feel like I want to just start with like the pulse in my heart feels like I want to just go towards maybe a question, and maybe that question is, when did you decide that you like somehow you don't deserve to, and it's the word's not thrive, but it's to like feel good, like there's something about feeling good, like whatever that means, being calmer, being more embodied, being more present, whatever that element is. But there's something that's like a no, you're really not allowed to have that. And so is that true? And is there a place that maybe you have decided that you don't get to deserve to feel good?
I believe so. And good, also means prosperous and doing what I want to do, that I basically don't deserve that.
Right. That you don't deserve to do what you want to do and be prosperous and feel good.
And I think within my family situation and the different family trauma situation, I always things were taken away from me. So I feel sometimes afraid if I prosper, then it's going to be taken away. So yes, there's a fear around it also.
Right. So it's not just afraid to be that, but that if you are that, it'll get taken away from you, that you'll lose.
I don't deserve it, but if I do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And do you feel, when you say like the fear of it being taken away from you, or have this experience or thought of that trauma, the traumas in the history where things got taken from you, do you have a place in your body that lives?
I would imagine in my stomach area.
Yeah, that would make sense. Especially because you said the word trauma, and I you've probably heard me say this before, but one of the symptoms of trauma is that our organs literally kind of compress together, like the stomach, the digestive system, all the organs in the center of the body. Because if we're going to be attacked, like imagine an animal getting attacked, it protects its organs by clustering them and kind of trying to not get punctured or be too open, right? So we pull in. As humans, we do that too. So if there's enough pervasive trauma, you may have developed a way of closing down your organs, and then I think the digestive enzymes close down and we don't produce as well and we don't digest as well and we get stomach aches and like there's a holding right in the center of our bodies. Right. So maybe releasing injury recall, that activation to help undo any place where those
traumas are still living in you, and encouraging you to prepare for the next loss, encouraging you to prepare for something bad to happen instead of like resting into what's good and what could be possible. Right.
Yeah. And I did want to say that I did have a full right hip replacement just 4 months ago today, actually.
Wow.
And
so I remember it's
still
you
healing.
that.
And so that, I don't know if that comes up in this.
Yeah.
Because it's still healing. And that was a little bit of a trauma too, but wonderful. I'm in great shape. It's good.
Well, it's totally traumatizing, even if it's for the better. Like that's a hard thing to do when we're going to go put ourselves under trauma and crises to actually improve ourselves somehow. And I don't know if you mean there was more trauma in the actual surgery than you expected, or if just the experience is traumatizing.
Yeah, it was, it was the surgery. Yeah, I was out and I didn't feel it, but it was major. And so
it's major.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. So while we're releasing injury recall, I don't mind spending some time today doing a little bit of tissue repair in there to make sure that that's also cleaning up. So let's first release the injury recall and of the past traumas that could, and especially I think when we're in current pain, when we're uncomfortable, those things have even more airtime, at least for me. Like if something else hurts, then it seems like all my old material is up at the same time. So let's release the injury recall first, and then we'll take a look at how I can support that hip and healing.
Okay.
So good. So let's command the vibrational source of consciousness, and that you know this work. So I know that you know, but this is really that part of you, not something outside of you, but your own orb. Maybe someone would call that their higher self, right? Like let's invoke that part of yourself that does know you deserve to thrive. And that does know that, that just because your traumas presented you with loss, that you don't have to prepare every single time you thrive to have more loss. So let's release injury recall, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, energetic, genetic, past, present, and future. And activate change, generate healing, and immediately, if you want, you can take a breath in and exhale it fully. And for all the things you hold in your stomach, but anywhere in this body that recoil you from receiving, and anything that blocks you from letting more of life in and letting yourself have more, whether that's money or time or energy or resource, like let's release the injury recall and all the habits you have to protect yourself from having more, from being more, from living more abundantly, from trusting that you can keep what you earn and grow and have. And so let's release injury recall on every single level: physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, energetic, and genetic, for the past, for the present, and all the predetermined stories we have for our future. And activate change and generate healing immediately. Ooh. I just felt a little shiver. What are you noticing?
That my stomach area has more fullness, more
Good.
Not as tight, I think.
Good.
So looser.
Good. A little more space maybe in there?
Mm-hmm.
Good. A little less of that gripping, right? This would be a beautiful activation for you to do when you notice that gripping, because it's working. Like I can email it to you again if you don't still have it, but that you can like keep it to be like, oh, that gripping means I might be having a trauma, preparing for trauma, in which case I could help myself ungrip by doing the release injury recall. And I would say multiple times. And yeah. Good. Along with it, I'm going to do something else. So while I do it this time, and I'm going to invite you to do is, if breathing is comfortable for you, doing intentional breaths.
Okay.
Good. Okay, good. So what you'll do is you'll breathe in, and you'll breathe in a little bit shorter of a count than when you breathe out. So imagining I might be breathing in 1, 2, 3, and then breathing out 1, 2, 3. Give it a 4.
Okay.
Like that. Good. And we'll do that. You can do that again. So I'll just do that with you. And then I'm going to have you keep doing that while I do the activation.
Okay.
Because the extended exhale helps you receive even more.
Okay.
So we're trying to get beyond the part of the nervous system that's prepping for something bad to happen and get to the part of you that does know how to restore and receive and reset and and be you. Okay.
Okay.
So let's do that breath together one more time. So I'll have you breathe in, and your counts don't have to be like mine, but that could be a 1, a 2, maybe a 3. And then breathe all the way out on a 1, nice and long, 2, 3, and then get that extra 1, 4 or 5, wherever you are. And the numbers don't matter, just as you breathe out longer than breathing in. But you'll keep doing that, and I'm going to release injury recall again. So commanding that vibrational source of you, of your consciousness, to release injury recall, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, energetic, genetic, past, present, and future. And activate change and generate healing and immediately. And then you can relax any counting you're doing, and we'll just pause and feel. Now, what does your body want us to know about receiving? Any awarenesses or information or sensations?
About receiving?
Yeah.
It was relaxing what I was going through.
Good.
I'm not sure if I had any feelings around it other than I was just more
Good.
relaxed.
Good. And it may be literally that you have enough trauma in your history that your trick will be to not let that automatic or autonomic nervous system win. Because when we've had enough trauma, we prepare for more trauma. And that as soon as we enter the domain that has scared us before, we activate. And that's not intentional. That's not something wrong. That's just what the nervous system does. It says, prep for trauma, right? And we do that. And that sometimes that doesn't mean anything except that we have a nervous system and a body that is prepped for trauma. And our job is really to just remind ourselves to calm it down so that it doesn't take over and win and start controlling the way we're thinking and feeling. And we don't believe the story of that part of our nervous system, right? It's like, okay, yes, I've had trauma. It doesn't mean it's coming again. And even that you get tight or scared doesn't mean it's something bad is happening. That's just a reactive system doing its job.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's nice that you respond to the activation and the breath work, because I feel like those are things you can use.
Yeah, it felt good.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, I don't know if you grabbed it, but if you go to our website, there's a freebie that's on there right now. It's called the Ultimate Self-Care Bundle. And I do like a 7-minute breathing of that long exhale just to help people calm down. So you can download it and keep it and use it anytime you want. It's just a free support, because I think so many times we do just need to calm down, right? And get beyond what we're afraid of. So good. Let's feel into your body and feel your stomach. If that feels nice and relaxed, I'm going to let you then see if there's anything else coming to mind to focus on. And we can either go into that hip and do some tissue repair, or we can spend a little more time kind of doing a discovery process on what it means to have more. And maybe I heard you say prosperous a couple of times. So maybe even money, what's in the way of having more money. So if you want to do a little bit of discovery and build some awarenesses around money. Yeah.
I think that would be good.
Good. And then we'll close up with just
very significant.
It sounds like it. I could feel that when you said it. It had a grip to it. So let's just explore money and the consciousness of money with you. So I'm going to do that thing where I ask the questions. You just answer whatever comes up.
Okay.
We'll clear it through and we'll just kind of follow that process. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. I know you know this well. I'm just going to start with a simple one. What does money mean to you? And just anything that comes up.
Pay my bills.
Mm-hmm. True. And activate change and generate healing immediately. That's very practical. Truth. And what else does money mean to you?
It has some opportunity to it.
Good. So money pays your bills. Money also has opportunity. and activate change and generate healing immediately. And I'm just going to ask it a couple more times. What does money mean to you?
Ability to expand with my work, business-wise and also creative-wise.
So money has some power in helping you to expand.
Yes.
Yeah, in your creativity and in your business. Good. So feeling the power that money has to create you and your life.
Yes.
Good. And activate change and generate healing immediately. I'm going to ask that same one last time. What else does money mean to you?
Well, I don't know where the words were, but this came more a negative aspect of it.
Yeah.
It was very divisive, very
Money is divisive, right?
divisive, very
yeah.
Very a lot of challenging energy around it. I was challenged by, I'm trying to think of the right word.
You've had your own,
It's not a negative energy, but it's a real
conflict. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, that people are coming after it, or do I deserve it? Actually, back to what you're saying, do I deserve it, or it doesn't belong to you, or it's not your blood, or it's. So it brings up
really
some
feeling
very challenging feelings.
Right. And those feelings feel like they're not just like your perception of money in the world, but they're feelings you've had, like messages that have been sent to you, like you might not deserve it, or
money. Yes.
Yes. So it brought up for a moment, what does money mean to you? Brought a flush of your relationship to money and what people have said and put on you as judgments. Did I get it right?
Yes. And put on the money that I would receive.
And then the energy they put onto the money that you received on top of it. Yeah. So all that you've taken in and with money, that includes judgment and rejection and your not worthiness on it. Is it generative to clear some of that off?
Absolutely.
So anything that didn't belong to you that entered into your field with money, that when you received the money, you got all the shit and caboodle that came with it of the negativity or the judgment or the bashing of you in some way. Let's command your body and being, if that's stored in you in any place at all, to release all of that, to release anything that's not yours, and to gift it to the vibrational source of consciousness. Activate change and generate healing immediately. And again, we don't try to throw it at the people that gave it to us, but we give it to this other power of our consciousness to sort, filter, and figure out where it goes. We don't have to know. We're not have to play the game of figuring out like, oh, I'm going to send that to this person and that person. It's like, no, whatever it is, we just don't need to know where it goes. You just don't need it in your body. So if you're storing judgments of yourself, not worthiness, stories about you in your body related to money, are you willing to let them go?
I am willing to let it go. Yes.
Thank you. Let's command the vibrational source of consciousness in you and around you to support this, and your body, literally, and your being, to release anything that's not yours and to gift it to that same vibrational source and activate change to generate healing immediately. I feel like I want to do that one more time. Can I do that?
Yes.
Let's command your body and being to release everything that's not yours. And is there any good reason you wouldn't let that go?
No.
Is there anything about those stories that you feel like you need to keep?
No.
Good. And commanding your body and being to release anything that's not yours and activate change and generate healing immediately. Is there any place you internalize those as true?
Oh.
And I wonder why you might have done that.
I believe that, yes, I have done that.
Yeah. And when we do that,
it's a truth that I did because I felt there was truth to it.
Right. And when you believe those truths and said, oh, maybe they're right, maybe that's true about me. What do you think? How do you think that was serving you? Like, what do you think that part of you needed by saying, okay, I take it on. Okay, I get it. You're probably right. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't deserve this, or maybe I can't have this. Like, what part of your soul may have decided that it was worth doing that, and why?
I don't know, but boy, I wish that I hadn't have decided that.
Because we don't usually decide these things for no good reason. Like typically in that moment, there's something that serves us.
Okay.
Right? There's some reason we do it because we think we have to, or because we're being loyal to something, or because we think if we do this, maybe there's a door someplace else that I can, like, something happens in our psyche. Right?
I think my real existence and being in the family, loyalty. I had to take that all on.
Yeah. So all the ways in which, in order to stay safe in that family, you needed to buy their opinion of you.
Yes.
And therefore their opinion on how much you do or don't deserve money. And let's see today if there's any value in keeping, is there anything that makes you safe about keeping their opinions of you more relevant than your own?
No, I don't need their opinions.
No, I don't think you do anymore either. So are you really willing to completely to be disloyal, really, and let their opinions and their safety issues and what they did to control their universe or yours, to really say, no, I get to live this for different reasons now?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So let's command your body for real. Not that you weren't commanding it that way before, but for all the reasons we can know now, you've outlived that safety issue. It's no longer keeping you safe to believe that you're not worthy of having enough to create your life and be abundant and be you and show up in this world with all your needs being met. And let's command your body and being to release any stories that are hidden, any hidden agendas, any conscious or unconscious places that have made them more real than you or your own truths and knowings, and activate change and generate healing immediately. Let's take a big breath together if we can. And exhale fully. How's that feel?
Yeah, I feel up here, I feel lighter.
Is it in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Good. So maybe we're it's like taking the cap off your head that has oppressed you from being able to have faith in yourself in life at a whole new level, to be able to trust yourself and who you are, to plug in to more resource, to say, well, wait a minute here. I wouldn't put this on someone else, right? It's like, why is this on me? And
right.
Can you allow yourself to be that much more free? Right?
I would like to be, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And activate change and generate healing immediately. I'm going to ask the same question again because it seems to be working to be in the repetition. It's getting kind of under the defenses a little bit. So what does now, in this moment, what else does money mean to you?
Could need some freedom.
Yeah. Wow. And where do you feel that?
I feel it actually in my hands and my stomach and up here a little bit. And it just, it was just, that's what came right out. Freedom.
Yeah. Let's really feel that. Can we invoke, are you willing to receive more freedom?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's really let you feel that. Let's invoke and can proclaim and pronounce that you have a knowing and the wisdom to know that it's time to receive more freedom and to liberate your energy in your body, through your stomach, through your hands, through your mind, through your heart, through your head, and to really feel and know what that feels like. And that money beholds also the energy of freedom, but also your freedom attracts money. And all the ways in which freedom and money can be the same energy and activate change and generate healing immediately. Good. How's that feel?
We got a lot of warmth. Good. Sweating, yes.
Mm-hmm. Right? Right? Isn't that amazing how that happens? How energy moves and we break into sweats.
Yes, really. Oh.
Yeah. right? How much you've been holding. It's like feels to me like a body that's been gripping.
Yep.
And we're like, release. And then for a minute, it's like, okay. But then it really releases and all this energy that's been blocked is coming out. So all your ability to feel free and all the energy that has suppressed you and therefore not allowed you, or you have not allowed yourself to really feel free, to really say, wait a minute, I'm not their child in a home where anybody has the right to tell me what I do or don't deserve with money. Like, I get to do this for myself. I get to feel what that feels like and invoke a life where I get to choose my own sovereignty mentally and emotionally, and therefore in my physical life, right? And activate change and generate healing immediately. Woo. What else does money mean to you?
What else does money mean to me?
What else? Like, what else could it possibly mean? What else does money
mean?
Some
enjoyment. Some enjoyment.
It could mean some enjoyment. Yeah. And are you willing to receive that?
Yes.
Good. And activate change and generate healing immediately. I love all of these energies, all of them, the complicated ones and the beautiful ones. I can feel how important it is for you to just be aware of what you're holding, right? And what you do know and what money stirs in you on all these levels, right? Maybe we'll do one more for fun, see where it goes. Let's clear all that we've already brought up and let you just be completely spacious to what you receive. And so truth. What else does money mean to you?
Privacy.
Wow. That's a different energy. Tell me about that.
That I could, if I had all the money to live and eat and etc., then I wouldn't have so many people. I could have my own room, my own space, my own, with not owing anybody any, anything.
Mm-hmm. And there's also this like powerful privacy when we move other people's shit out of our body, when we're like, hey, wait a minute, your stories are still in me. Like, I get to have my own stories in here. Those are my private stories to have about my life and what I do or don't get to have. So I felt privacy as this interesting root and the conviction of letting other things go that are not yours, as well as the way it buys physical space or freedom, which I heard you say too, like having the resource to not have to live with people or in the same way or have more room to yourself, right? But I want to also feel the element of privacy and my inner works, who I am, how I think and feel. That's my business. That belongs to you, no one else.
Yes.
Right? So that makes me want to just release them one more time. So let's command your body and being to release any hidden places where you would have anybody in there that doesn't belong there, and to invoke the privacy of your own mind and your own heart and your own emotions to determine who you are in relation to money, who you are in relation to life as a creative being, who you are to define your own sense of self and activate change and generate healing immediately. And that you get to have that even if there's a million people close by, that comes first because that's already right here for you to like claim and activate change and generate healing immediately. Beautiful. What are you noticing?
Well, I cooled off.
Good. Integrated a little, huh?
Yeah, probably so.
Good.
I feel good.
Yeah, that feels good. Yeah, it feels kind of complete for that process. And I would say you just saw the value of asking a question over and over again. What happens is it like breaks down those initial thoughts and allows us to feel deeper, and the possibility of turning around even the words we hear, like, oh, privacy isn't just like a physical space from people, but privacy is how I take care of myself, and I want you to have that as an invitation that you can keep playing with, whether it's money. And I think this would be a good one for you. Like, what does money mean to me today? It's like, and to ask yourself 10 times and to do some activations around it, and just to be like, I can just explore that. Like I don't have to be afraid to hear that and to know that there could be all the same messages or 50 million more. And whatever has been trapped in your body that money has been the place saver for, gets to kind of unlodge so that all those yearnings for you to feel more free, to feel more agency, to feel more creative, to have more permission to do what you want, to have privacy, that those yearnings can come alive even before the resource gets there. But my experience is often as we allow ourselves to feel that abundance, we also begin to feel other ways to make money that maybe we never thought of. So you have more of yourself available, right?
Right.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love that.
Thank you.
So it's invoking, can't proclaim, renounce, all of that. And you know me well enough to know there's a big old fat delete button in the middle of the session. So if something I said along the way here or say in the next few minutes ends up not resonating, please just clear it, delete it, hit the button, gone. Like you don't have to think about yourself in any way for me. So I want you to be in your own process. And sometimes we do this and then later we have new thoughts, and no attachments. This whole design is for you to just learn you and to learn what gets trapped in the body when we suffer like this, Yeah. Unactivate change and generate healing immediately. Now your hip feels available. Can I offer it some tissue repair?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to imagine that my mind's eye has the ability to take this infinite source of beingness and energy, and then I can dive right into this hip, into all the aspects of the hip, the bones, the joints, the fluids, the air molecules, the muscles and tendons and cartilage and all the things that are in there, and that we can consciously and deliberately ignite tissue repair and all that might bring up. Activate change and generate healing immediately. And ignite tissue repair. Imagining that each cell is like a little mini spinning chakra, and that we are invoking awake the cellular regeneration of tissue. And we ignite tissue repair. And while we do that, we clear anything in there that doesn't belong there, any memories, any issues, any energies, and activate change and generate healing immediately. And ignite tissue repair. And activate change and generate healing immediately. It's so interesting as I'm dancing in that hip, I feel this really gentle, subtle invitation. It's like your body is asking you, like, will I? Like in this curious, like, will I? And I'm wondering what that is. Like, what does your body want to know that you might be willing, or your being, your spirit want you to know that you might be just right at the precipice of like, will I really? Will I? What are you aching or feeling, or
Will I be able to paint and live?
Yeah, will I live? Will I live? Will I live? Yeah, will I live and paint and be me and flourish and express? So let's clear anything in that hip, fears that were there with whatever was happening before the surgery that may have started to make you scared that you wouldn't be able to paint, or you wouldn't be able to move the way you want, or you wouldn't be able to live in the ways you wanted to. And so any fear that's been trapped in the hip, is it generative for us to clear that?
Yes. Yes.
Good. Okay. Good. So let's release any and all fears, because you did it. You got through the surgery. You're healing. You're reclaiming your body, rewiring and rebuilding it so that you can be you and live and paint and be creative and show up in this world and activate change and generate healing immediately. And let's one more time ignite tissue repair. Amazing. And activate change and generate healing immediately. Wow, how does that feel in there?
It feels like I feel the existence of my hip in there. I haven't really felt that.
Oh, good. It feels like we unnumbed. Something was a little numb or in shock still, that it just moved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. We want you to feel that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. I'm just going to do it one more time just to offer that, and then we'll close it up. And I would suggest, if you have a moment, to be able to just lie down or sit or, relax for the next number of minutes, whether that's 10 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour, just to let it integrate, because we just moved a lot of energy.
Okay.
And
wonderful. I'm so happy.
That feels really good. You're welcome. You feel amazing. So let's release injury recall in the hip for any patterns of pain that were here before: physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, energetic, genetic, past, present, future. Activate change and generate healing immediately. And let's ignite tissue repair in your hip and through your whole body. And let's activate the divinity, the essence of you and every cell and particle of who you are. And bring that right down through the center of your being, through the entire hip, but all of you, through your stomach, through your body, through your nervous system, through the beingness of who you are, your toes, your fingertips, your eyelashes. And let's bring that down through the center of your being and extend it through you, through all of you, and every time, space, dimension, and universe. Activate change and generate healing immediately. Thank you so much. I'm curious if there's anything else you need before we finish up.
I think I'm okay. I think I need, the quiet and there's a little bit of sadness somehow in this letting go.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? There's a tightness that we get, and when it releases for a minute, there's a wash through, like a purification. So I would just encourage you to stay with and let that move through, wherever the fear gets in the way of feeling just the sadness of what we go through as humans and what we worry about and what you've experienced in your traumas too, right?
Thank you very much.
So your letting go can do that. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to stay sad. It just can often just flush, but if you do get snagged in there at all, you can reach back into me and let me know. But
I don't think it was like an overwhelming sadness. It was just like a little bit of
tenderness. Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Honoring your journey. Thank you so much for sharing with me.
Thank you, Phyllis, for allowing us to listen in on such a beautiful exploration of your relationship with money and your body, your surgery, and the past traumas with your family. And I just really appreciated your openness and willingness to explore so vulnerably. It really was such a gift to listen in. I realized as I was listening that I haven't really talked much about being empathic or the activation that we use to help us clear energy that's not ours. So I wanted to dive into that, and this episode to me was such a clear example of that. And Gabrielli kept going back to like, oh, wow, right. And what if that isn't yours? And what if that internalized feeling of like, I don't deserve, or the stories that Phyllis's family was sharing about her or towards her that she was taking on as her own internal energy. So I really wanted to talk about that today, how we think about it, how we hold it, and how we work with it. This really is an incredibly important part of the healing work that we do with others and what we teach in our trainings and retreats and really hold in our lives and work with in our lives, Gabrielli and I. And so many people that end up working with us would identify as highly sensitive or quote unquote an empath. And yet we really believe that yes, some people can be extra sensitive or empathic, but if you're human, you are empathic by nature. Empathy is not just a trait, and certainly not a trait that some people have and some people don't. It's actually really built into us on a biological level. From the moment we're conceived, we begin processing life in connection with another. For around 9 months, we are literally grown and fused inside another body, sharing not only physical resources, but emotional and energetic experiences. And through this experience, we're assessing what's safe, what's not, thus building our very own survival brain around another's energy, body, and experience. Then when we're born and our brains continue this deep connection through something called mirror neurons, research shows that these mirror neurons fire not only when we perform like an action, but also when we see someone else performing the same action. In other words, our brains are wired to mirror the experience of others, allowing us to feel what they feel, almost as if it were our own. This is why when you sit across from someone, say who is sad or stressed or joyful, your brain and body respond as though you're experiencing those emotions yourself. It's a beautiful mechanism that allows us to connect, support, and care for each other, and it can also make it complicated for us to really know what is quote unquote ours and what isn't. You might walk away from a conversation with a friend that's really hurting and feel a lingering feeling of heaviness and sadness, thinking that it's yours. But in reality, you sponged it up from your friend and took it home with you. Have you ever experienced that? I imagine some of you listening might have that happening every single day. This really can be such a powerful gift if you know how to work with it. And for those of us who are highly empathic, it can feel so overwhelming. We find ourselves not wanting to be out in the world with others because it feels like way too much. As so many of us unknowingly take on the emotions, pain, and energy of others, it can show up in many different ways. Looping thoughts, every emotion you can imagine, including fear and grief and shame and guilt and joy and anxiety and depression, physical pain, headaches. The list goes on and on. For me, for years, I struggled with a seemingly unending barrage of unexplainable physical pain that would come out of nowhere. I'd wake up unable to move my neck and be stiff for days. I'd walk into a grocery store and immediately get a headache. I'd sit with my friend and start to feel exhausted and sick to my stomach. I just couldn't make sense of myself until I really began to understand how empathically sensitive I am. All I really knew about being an empath was that it was only emotional. And even then, I didn't realize that I could be holding those emotions long after being with someone, even years, or that I could be holding their energy without ever even being in the physical space with them. But when I began to realize that so much of the pain I was experiencing wasn't mine, it was a profound revelation. And I'll talk more about some of the questions and the activation that I began to use in those moments that shifted everything. I just don't walk around with chronic, bizarre pain that's unexplainable anymore. And this really led me to thinking about the fact that I was living in a swirled soup pot of so much that wasn't mine. I barely even had a sense of connection to myself beyond it all. I really just didn't feel like I had an anchor into who I actually was. And before I go even further down that vein and the broader aspects of this notion of quote unquote mine and not mine, I want to just speak into why we might be processing for others. Why we might hold onto energy, emotion, pain that's not ours, because if it wasn't somehow serving us or serving someone else, so we think, we wouldn't be doing it. The reasons can go on and obviously are unique to you. But what we see most commonly is that we hold onto others' energy because we think it's helpful to them. Maybe we feel it's our way of protecting them or holding their pain so they don't have to feel it. Or maybe sometimes it's a distraction from our own pain, emotions, and discomfort. Like if I take on all that for somebody else, I don't actually have to get into my own issues. And don't get me wrong, these are totally valid reasons, but over time, carrying the weight of what isn't ours can leave us feeling drained and victimized or even physically unwell. And if you have someone else's pain or energy, they can't heal it either because you have it. So as much as we think we're helping, we might actually be hindering the people we love and care about's ability to heal themselves. In other words, in many cases, we're doing the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. And to say that in an even simpler way, when we process energy that isn't ours, we can't heal it. We can hold it, we can feel it, but we cannot transform it because it's not ours to transform. It's not ours to heal. And neither can the person whose energy we're holding. This is one of the reasons why we could process this shit for years and years in therapy or other healing modalities, and it just doesn't seem to heal, shift, or change. That's usually a telltale sign you might be holding something that isn't yours. I want to make sure to also name here, it's not just person-to-person energy that we process that doesn't belong to us. We are also processing what has been inherited from our ancestors, the beliefs, traumas, and patterns passed down through generations. These inherited energies can include fears, anxieties, and even physical sensations that don't originate with us but live in our DNA as echoes of the past. This isn't just a spiritual or esoteric idea. It has even been proven in many studies around trauma and how it can be passed down generation to generation. We are also constantly absorbing and processing systemic and societal energies around us. Living in an oppressive society like we do here in the United States means we are exposed to collective fears, injustices, beliefs, coping strategies, thought patterns, the list goes on, that can seep into our consciousness and our bodies, making them feel like our own. The weight of racism, sexism, classism, ableism, and other systemic oppressions creates energetic imprints that can show up in a myriad of different ways, including immense stress and anxiety, perfectionism, a sense of urgency, anger and rage, hopelessness and disempowerment, the feeling of needing to stay small, or a fear of speaking up and owning your voice, just to name a few. And because our body is so incredibly simple in its communication, meaning we have a sensational body that processes every energy through thoughts, feelings, emotions, and sensations, these inherited and systemic energies often intertwine with our individual energy and feel exactly like the energy that belongs to us, making it incredibly difficult to discern what is truly ours and what has been absorbed or inherited. I know this is a lot to take in, especially if this is new to you, so I urge you to re-listen as many times as you need to feel in and to be in your curiosity about it all. As I've worked with this over the last 12 years, I still sometimes surprise myself with how identified I can get with energies that aren't mine, how attached I am to them being mine even, and make up all the stories or reasons why they are. So what might we do about all of this? There are a lot of things you could do, but the tools I wanted to share with you today is the activation we call Activate, Healer, Release, Victim, and a question. We talk about activations in episode 10. It's called Can I Really Be All of Who I Am? No More Staying Small. And I go over activations, how we think about them, the wording. Sometimes you'll hear that it's kind of an intense wording, and that's on purpose. And in this particular activation, I say the words I command, and that is very intentional. So certainly listen back if you haven't to episode 10 about activations to learn more. This activation is designed to empower the healer within you, the part of you that knows how to move, shift, and clear energy, while releasing the sense of victimhood that often comes with being empathic. Through this activation, we learn to release what doesn't belong to us, to gift it back to the vibrational source of consciousness, that part of you that knows how to sift, sort, and filter for you. This is not about abandoning others or refusing to help, quite the opposite. It's about clearing ourselves so we can show up fully and powerfully for others without being entangled in their pain or the collective heaviness. And also, and even more importantly, clearing what's not ours so that we can actually see and get to what's underneath that is ours and that is our work to do and that is our energy. The first step I always take is to simply ask, what if this isn't mine? Literally, what if this isn't mine? Even if I'm so identified and attached to it being mine, even if I've come up with 10 million stories as to why it is mine, to sit in the curiosity of like, wait, what if this isn't mine? Even this. What if this isn't mine? This question alone can be so transformative. So today, I want to invite you to experience this question and the activation, if you want, with me. So take a moment to close your eyes if that feels good for you. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes. You can just listen in and feel. And if you want to take a soft gaze, if that's better for you, that works too. So I invite you to take a quick scan of what's arising for you as you've been listening. Maybe there's physical pain, emotional overwhelm. Maybe you're feeling totally inspired and made sense of for the first time in a long time. Maybe there's a little anxiousness or hopelessness, grief. Whatever it is, what if that isn't yours? And if you want to receive it, I'll do the activation for you. Let's command your body and your being to release anything that's not yours and gift it to the vibrational source of consciousness. Activate change and generate healing immediately. And you can take a nice cleansing breath if that feels good for you. Let's do it again. I command your body and your being to release anything that's not yours and gift it to the vibrational source of consciousness. Activate change and generate healing immediately, and taking a nice breath. And as you do this, notice how your body responds. Do you feel lighter, more spacious, more grounded? And I invite you, even if you're unsure, to just trust in the process, to play with the activation as a practice, one that you can return to again and again. And I find that if I do it again and again, my energy kind of catches up and I actually become more and more aware of what's changing, and the energy starts to move in a more effective way, I feel like, a lot of the time. So we usually say to say an activation maybe even 10 to 30 to 100 times if you want to play with that as well. I'll make sure that the activation is in the show notes. So let's do this one more time. I command your body and your being to release anything and everything that is not yours, even the stuff that you feel like it is, or that you've attached to and are so attached to being yours. Like, what if that's not yours? And let's just gift that all to the vibrational source of consciousness. And anything that is yours, it'll stay. But really clearing out anything that's not yours and gift it to the vibrational source of consciousness. Activate change and generate healing immediately. Breathing in if that feels good. And releasing. This activation really is about choice, about claiming your energetic sovereignty. You may not have control over the emotions or actions of others, or over the inherited or systemic influences that we're sitting in all the time, but you do have control over what you choose to carry energetically. you can release what's not yours. And in doing so, you can make space to show up more clearly, more fully, and more authentically you, and for your own healing and personal work, and also for others. This really isn't just about feeling lighter and less burdened, although it can really, really help with that. It's also about nourishing the healer in you. It's in all of us. Like, we get cut, our body knows how to heal that cut. It's innate and it's natural. And when we release what's not ours, we activate our ability to discern what is ours to heal and what isn't, and how to truly serve others in the most generative way for everyone. We can sit with someone in their pain without absorbing it and then tanking with them. We can hold space for transformation without getting so tangled in their process we lose ourselves. We can offer clarity, support, and love from a place of groundedness and strength. And most importantly, we give others the opportunity to do their own healing and us to do ours. When we carry their pain, inherited trauma, or societal burdens for them, we unintentionally rob them of the chance to grow and evolve through it. By releasing what's not ours, we honor their journey as much as we honor our own. And we also step into the courageous act of seeing clearly what is ours to heal, so that we can actually get to it, feel it, find it, work with it, process it, move it through. That's when the real juicy, amazing healing can truly happen. That's when profound transformation occurs and actually lasts. So try it, play with it. I am so curious how it goes. Thank you so much for being here with me, for exploring this with me, and your willingness to just grow, to heal, to be here, to listen. You really are not alone in this journey, and I'm so grateful to be walking it with you. All my love.
Loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, baby.
Saying a huge thank you to Ali Halpert, the incredible musician and songwriter behind the songs featured in this podcast. We've had the privilege of singing some of Ali's powerful songs during our retreats and workshops, which have been such a meaningful and healing addition to our groups. To hear more of Ali's music and learn more, visit Ali's website at alihalpert.com. You can find the link in our show notes.